Hello there, I'm Richard. Welcome to Burning Spears. Today I am going to be making a boerewors smash burger. So very common accompaniment for boerewors in South Africa is a tomato and onion relish. Very simple. I'm sure most people know how to make it. I'm here to show you my way. A couple of great tips and tricks. So stick around to see how you can get the best out of tinned tomatoes, the best flavor and the best silky unctuousness into a tomato and onion relish that's possible. Okay, so just to touch on the ingredients, I grew up making this with fresh tomatoes. Fresh tomatoes were way different back then. They weren't hydro or polytunnel grown or long-lasting hybrid variants. They were real tomatoes. They had real taste. They weren't full of tasteless water and too crunchy to actually break down properly. So this is on one of the few occasions that I advocate a tinned or prepared product. Tinned tomatoes are much better than most fresh tomatoes these days. It's great if you can get nice Italian ones, you know, they know what they're doing with tomatoes. You can trust that lot. So use a good quality tinned tomato, not a cheap one. You can also put some fresh and some tinned together, and that gives you a good balance. Then of course onion. So I'm basically probably going to use a tin to an onion. I reserve the right to use a second one depending on the consistency of the tomato in the tin. You can use, I'm using chopped tomatoes because the process is quick. You can use whole peeled plums. That just takes a lot more boiling down. So this is a really quick method that produces a great result. So back to the ingredients. So we've got the one onion. Then tomatoes, tinned tomatoes have a negative side, and that is the acid that's inherent in tomatoes, but because they're tinned in the way they're prepared, that acid isn't the best tasting. Now I use lemon juice in there to freshen it up and make it taste fresh and lively again. Not a lot, just enough to set it off. Traditionally, it's not common to put many other ingredients in, or it is, depending on everyone's choice. But normally I've cooked it pretty standard, but I am going to put a chili in there today, and you can put rosemary or thyme in there as well. Free license. Anything that goes well with tomatoes, oregano, anything like that is good. Then of course salt, kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper. Salt and tomatoes are essential friends. You need a lot of salt to bring out the life in the tomato as well. Today I'm going to use some olive oil. Used sunflower oil growing up, probably because this was so expensive in South Africa, but I'll also use more oil than a lot of you will think I should use, but that you'll see that in the finished product and how essential it is. Similar to a curry, I suppose, with that nice tempered oil, give that gloss and that luxuriousness. So I add the black pepper in now during the onions, so that the black pepper can get tempered. That flavors the oil a little bit. The frying activates it nicely, and then I've taken them down to a sort of medium-low heat, where I'm just going to let them do their thing for a while. Soften up, develop those sugars without browning. I don't want to brown these onions at all. I just want them to go translucent, and then they'll be ready to go. Similarly, chilies go nice and early as well to cook and B, temper that oil, flavor that oil as well. You can see the onions have just gone translucent, so it's time to go in there. So I've put that back up to a sort of medium-high heat because there's a lot of moisture to cook off on the tinned tomatoes. And I'll reduce it down a fair way, then I'll drop it to a medium heat, then to a low heat, and I will cook it for ages on the low heat. That's why non-stick is great, because even tomatoes will eventually stick. So non-stick, you can really take them to a nice jammy, marmalade-y, chutney-esque consistency without that catching. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that you could also add curry powder to this. Very common in South African households to add curry powder to add another layer of flavor. But like I say, I'm going for the fresh taste, the fresh tomato taste. That's really what I want to champion. Not that it's fresh tomatoes being the tinned tomatoes, but that will simulate that, as mentioned. You could put garlic in here, but again, that's not what I'm going to go for. I eat a lot of garlic anyway, so I don't need to have it in everything. So I'll focus on this pot, and they will just be, it's probably going to be 30 to 40 minutes from now on a low simmer to get where I want to get to. I'm going to season later on, not right now, because I want a lot of the moisture to leave, so I don't want to over salt it. Naturally this will be a salty dish. It's a seasoning relish. It's meant to be salty, it's meant to be punchy. And then, even though I've got some nice fresh acid going in there, sometimes there's still a little bit of a lingering taste, like a tin taste, or you've got too much acid. So you tone that down with some sugar. Nice brown sugar if you have, otherwise any sugar, or a sweetener, I suppose, if you're that way inclined. But traditionally in a lot of South African households, they like it sweet. I don't like it sweet. Like I say, I'm after that fresh, zesty, punchy tomato flavor, but all to their own. Try it both ways, come up with what you like. As you can see, it's rapidly going. A lot of the moisture's gone off. I'm going to continue that for a few minutes before I drop it down. The oil on the sides is starting to go red, but it's not properly red yet. It's more of an orange. That has to develop more as well. When I turn it down low, I'm going to do my first salt test. You can add stock in here too if you want more depth, like a chicken stock or vegetable stock. If you want more depth, I'm going to put my salt in. Again, a lot of salt, yeah? Probably over a teaspoon. And then my half lemon juice. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of sugar because very acidic. I'm going to balance that down. I nailed the salt. So I'll do a final test for seasoning right at the end. Might require a bit more black pepper, but happy with the spice. You never know with those red chilies, man. They can be placid or absolute scorpions sometimes, but happy with what I added. You could also leave the seeds out, as you know, for a more mild affair. So now this is just going to go on low heat for a very long time. Okay, so about 30 minutes low like that. I'm quite happy with the consistency. The oil is nice and red. It's pulled, it's tempered. All of those flavors have now shifted around and come out of where they need to. So I'm going to do a final seasoning check and then done. Of course, anything tomato based attains the same heat as lava, so you always need to really be careful. For me, just touch more salt, I like my stuff salty, and a touch of pepper, and then that's ready.